I'm going to give you a number today. That number is 350,000. That's how many Uber, Lyft, and delivery drivers that Flock Safety wanted to quietly turn into a rolling surveillance network. Now, here's the twist. Drivers likely would have never known that their own dash cam was part of this surveillance network. We live in a world where the most powerful technology ever built is being handed to you without instructions, without warnings, and without anyone asking whether it serves you or uses you. That question has a name: the virtuous machine. I'm Michael Ruthier, and this is Tech for Grownups, the show that believes technology should answer to human beings, not the other way around. This is the show the tech industry doesn't want you to hear. No corporate talking points, no sponsored opinions. Just honest conversation. Let's go. Now, the company we're talking about today is Flock Safety, and I've talked about them before on our blog. If you recall any of this, they are the company that's behind the license plate reader, the ALPR, cameras that are mounted on poles in thousands, and I'm not exaggerating here. I mean thousands of communities. They prepared a pitch presentation for the Georgia Attorney General's office in 2025. Now, here was their plan: to partner with Nexar, a popular dashcam manufacturer, and they wanted to pull license plate data directly from roughly 350,000 Uber, Lyft, and delivery vehicles already on the road. I'm going to be fair here because in Flock's own words, and this was obtained by 404 Media's public records request, the goal was to conscript rideshare and delivery drivers to collect license plate data. Now think about that for a minute. I really, and if you've listened to this podcast for some time now, you know where I stand on these things, and this is insane. This would have turned Flock's normally stationary, the pole-mounted cameras, into a mobile roaming collection system, scanning plates at every red light, every driveway, every street a driver passes. Now, the deal ultimately, it never materialized, and thank goodness for that. But Flock confirmed the Nexar partnership fell through. So this was something that was really going to go through if everybody wanted to play ball. It is not clear that Uber, Lyft, or the drivers themselves would have ever known that their dash cams were feeding this network. Now, for every listener out there, and I don't care what country you're in, I don't care if you're in the US, you're in Canada, you're in Europe, I don't care wherever you're at. I want you to think about that for a moment, please. I really want you to sit with that. Because we're talking about people who are doing gig work, making extra money. And for some of these people, they do it as their main job, and they do make a good living from it because if they're delivering a lot. And of course, they rely on tips. So please make sure that these people who are busting their hump for you, bringing you your food, because in some cases, and I'll call it what it is, we're too lazy to go out and do it. Tip them really well because they have bills to pay and they might have mouths to feed as well. So this wasn't pitched as a driver opt-in tool. It was designed to work invisibly in the background. Now, tie this to Flock's existing practice, right? In some jurisdictions, users are automatically enrolled in data sharing to Flock's city stream map, and they have to actively opt out of it, meaning that silence is treated as consent. And that's the part that I can't wrap my head around. I can't. Now, this isn't an isolated incident because there's pattern recognition here. LAPD suspended its 3-year partnership with Flock over surveillance concerns in July of 2026. Now, there was a controversy. It's Monday, folks. Come on, give me a break. It's the Condor controversy. So, despite Flock publicly claiming that its cameras, they don't track people, a security researcher found that Flock's own training videos showing police tracking suspects location to location to location. And this researcher even demonstrated a camera that visibly follows a walking person in real time. So here we are again. They tell you one thing and do another, or it's all a bunch of fluff and stuff. Now, there was a court ruling in November 25 that found Flock data qualifies as public record, and meaning that this data has real legal weight and reach. It's not just theoretical concern here. And some Washington cities have been found sharing Flock ALPR data with federal immigration agents. And I know what you're thinking. We're not going to get into that right at the moment. But this data was showing where public safety data can end up once it's collected. Our right to privacy, again, please, this isn't just the U.S. or North America, let's just say that. This is everywhere. Our right to privacy is slowly but surely eroding. And if we don't do something about it, if we sit complacent, if you do not use your voice to speak to your elected officials, to demand, don't ask, demand change, how the hell are we going to have any type of privacy within the next 5 years? I'm going to ask you a question because it's important that I get your opinion on this as well. And you can actually place this in the comment section for wherever you're listening from. I'd love to hear from you. And also, I'm going to go ahead and have a blog post on this so you can go over there, read the post, and also comment on that as well. But if a company is willing to design the system specifically so the people generating the data never have a clue in the world that they're generating it, what does that tell you about whether they expected you to say yes, even if you asked? Think about that for a moment. You're doing something and you don't even know you're doing it, but you're doing something that is so invasive, so intrusive, and that's just with something you purchased at the store, a camera, and you put it in your car thinking, I'm going to protect myself from some kind of malicious intent and an accident because you know there's these insurance scams and whatnot. I'm going to do something to protect myself, but you actually just became a part of the network. Just going back to those the ring cams, and there's an article that we did on the blog about that as well. But it's mind-blowing. Now, I have a second question for you. How many other public safety tools, now mind you, public safety tools, are being pitched to attorneys general and city councils right now, even at the time of this podcast, in presentations to the public that they will never see unless someone files a records request? How many of those are going on behind closed doors to meetings that you weren't invited to in your own city or your own town? Think about that. Now, if you remember a previous episode that I did on signal trace, this is the same logic pattern. A quiet infrastructure building now in case there's public appetite or a lack of resistance later. Because once it's already built, folks, it's too late. We have to speak up now. You have to not even just talk about it, with your friends and your family, but you have to have an active voice in this, because if not, we lay down and we take it. Now, the fact that the deal fell through, it is not the same as the intent disappearing, because here's a reality check, everyone. Just because one company opted out, because maybe they got pressure or someone actually grew a conscience overnight, I don't know. There's another company that will partner with Flock or whatever company that wants to do this intrusive, invasive surveillance. Someone will do it. So mind you, just because this deal fell through, that's not the end of it. Now, Flock has about $2,500 per camera pole mounted systems already in 6,000 plus communities. That number it's staggering. And this was an attempt to scale without physical infrastructure or public visibility, without you even knowing. You could have been walking down the street or washing your car in your driveway, mowing your lawn, doing whatever it was, and an Uber driver or a Lyft driver drove by and their camera collected your data without you even knowing. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, hey, Michael, there are cameras all over the place. What does it matter? There's a difference. There's a huge difference. The difference is that if you have a camera, a private business or a private person has a camera that is facing the road or whatever the case may be, trying to protect their property, that's fine. They're documenting what's going on around their property. But in this instance, when you are out and about and your data, which it's personal, it's unique to you, your data is being collected and used. Now, mind you, used. It could be even used against you, because of how many stories have we heard about people being identified? Oh, well, you're wanted for this, that, and the other. And that wasn't even the right person. But look at the crap that they went through. Look at what they went through. So this is something we need to think about, because your face, you have your identity. That's your biometric identity. And it's being used and it's being stored in servers that you have no clue as to where that's going. Because what happens if there's guess what? Data breach. And now all that's taken. So now bad guys have it too. Because you know what? Nothing is safe anymore. Especially with the advent of AI. And on top of that, now we have to worry about quantum computing. But the blueprint now, it exists. Other companies or Flock itself can revive a version of this idea quietly later, and once the public attention moves on. You've heard it in this podcast. Now, once it goes away 6 months from now, you're not going to talk about it or think about it, and they're going to move on with it. Here's what you can do today, because you're not powerless. You can check to see if your local police department contracts with Flock Safety. Many city council meeting minutes and contracts are public records, so you can actually request those records and check for yourself. Ask your city council directly whether ALPR data is shared with other agencies or federal immigration enforcement. If you drive for Uber, Lyft, or delivery service and use a Nexar or similar dashcam, review the data sharing terms and check for auto opt-in settings. That is something that people do not look for. It's buried within those terms of service, the TOS. Is it auto opt-in? Unless you literally, physically, you'll have to, I don't know if you go on a website, send in whatever their process is to opt out. You'll have to opt out of it manually. You can go to change.org. This is very easy. Lastly, there's a change.org petition that is already circulating on this exact issue for listeners who want to act now. So if you really want to get involved, go to change.org and you can sign that petition. Now, I don't want you to panic or, oh my goodness, this is happening. The deal didn't happen, but the pitch document is real. It was obtained through public records, and it reveals exactly how comfortable this industry is with building surveillance infrastructure that the public never gets to vote on. Talk about doing slimy crap behind closed doors. And as you could tell, I'm a little bit upset with this one today because it's just another example of things that are happening without your input. I really want you to take that seriously. And the only reason that we know about this is because of one resident in Dunwoody, Georgia, who filed a records request. That is the model: public pressure and public records, not silence. Now, if you want to find out more about this story, make sure to check our blog. You'll find the link in the description, in the show description. You can go there and read the details about this story. Also, I just want to thank you for everyone who has listened. Please make sure that you also go and check the link. We have a free spyware checklist for you that you can share with your loved ones to see if there's spyware on your phone, on your devices. Until next week, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next one. Marcus Aurelius asked a question that I think about every time I sit down to record this show. What is it fundamentally that this thing is for? Not what it claims to be for. What is it actually for? That's the virtuous machine question, and it applies to every piece of technology being built right now. The AI, the algorithms, the platforms, all of it. You'll find everything from today's episode at techforgrownups.com. Join the conversation in the community. The link is there. Stay sharp, stay loud, and I'll see you in the next one.